So you see that Stewart has really gotten quite a gap on Kenseth, Johnson, and Newman now.
Yeah, he's pinned up about 2 to 3 tenths of a second.
Car in front of you is going to pit this time.
Bob Jeffries, the spotter for Tony Stewart.
Yeah. But Tony is still running faster than the 17 and the 48, so just hope that he has, or maybe he's already thinking that he's saved enough and he's just trying to keep a nice pace in front of these guys. As you see, Martin Truex peel off now to go to pit road.
So this stop is going to come with 14 laps to go. Tony Stewart goes back to the lead. And you hear he's pushing in that clutch down the straightaway. That engine's going quiet. Trying to hold his gap and make sure he's got enough fuel. Dave?
Martin Truex hits pit road, and Doug Newell is the fuel man. He will put enough fuel in to get him to the end. 2 right side tires as well. Like you said, it was worth the risk. These guys were looking for something to happen.
Well, Chad Johnson, he learned a little bit of a hard lesson today on how to judge how far other people can go. You really can't get a good hack on that when in the beginning of the race when people are making good, these pit stops for tires and short pitting.
Gap from the leader to Matt Kenseth. Doc?
A lot of concern about fuel for the 17 car of Kenseth. In fact, you may see the 48 go by very quickly because of this. Listen in.
Hey, man, this car's thinking about shutting her down, shutting her off and close it for a little bit and get us some more there.
They were 3 to 5 laps shy, and Jimmy Finnick doesn't want to run out of gas with 2 laps to go. That would be a killer in race 1 of the chase.
You want to win the race. You want to get the bonus points that go with winning. But the damage for running out of fuel and losing a dozen, 20 spots on the last lap is too great to risk.
I'm telling you, pressure on top of those pit boxes is immense right now. You can tell it right there just looking at Jimmy Finnick.
Jimmy Johnson, third in that 48 car. Again, same situation, trying to get to the finish. Race for second. Oh, that's close.
Now they got to be careful racing around each other with this, pushing the clutch in and all that, because it's not necessarily, you're not getting what you expect sometimes.
Davis gas, we got 10 laps to go.
Earl Barban, the spotter for Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, and you hear Jimmy, they're really easing back with the throttle out of it longer than what they have been normally. That's just the way that you save fuel on them without maybe kicking the clutch in or anything else. And the car that I've been watching, it's up to 6. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jamie, can they make it?
Dale Jr., they believe that they can make it on the right-hand side. Update on Jimmy Johnson real quick on the left-hand side. The engine guys just came over and told Chad Knaus, that's a tongue twister, told him to go full throttle and then back off early into the corner. So they're working with their driver, telling him to get around this 17. Meanwhile, Dale Jr. on the right-hand side, after everything that could have possibly gone wrong last weekend went wrong, they're having quite a weekend. They brought a different platform setup. And Steve Letarte told me he didn't mind if his driver would be yelling because the car didn't handle very well, but it would be faster. Well, everything has worked out. He started today in 19th and running up in 7th right now. 6th, actually, Alan.
Steve Letarte said this week he loved it if it became a fuel mileage race because they've had a couple of chances to win under those circumstances this year. Wasn't it Charlotte in the 600?
Yeah.
Last corner of the race.
Well, he lost it, though.
They ran out.
That's the problem.
How about Harvick back in 4th, Doc?
They told him at the beginning of the run, you're 3.8 laps short. He said he's been saving fuel. He just now asked Gil Martin, how about it, Gil? Are we okay? And Gil said, I don't know, but just go for it, Kevin. Go for it. They turned him loose.
Yeah, the fact is you really don't know. I mean, you know when you're short by your calculations, but you don't know how much is in that car.
No, and it's hard to tell as a driver just how much you've done and what you've done. We talked about Jimmy Johnson there telling him they don't want him part throttling down the straightaway because that could mess up the engine and hurt the engine, so they don't want that scenario. They'd rather have him run out as to blow up.
So Harvick in the 29, by Kenseth in the 17 for 3rd. Tony Stewart leading 2.3 seconds ahead of Jimmy Johnson. Kevin Harvick 3rd, Matt Kenseth 4th, Ryan Newman 5th. Earnhardt Jr. in 6th is 6 seconds behind. There's the gap from 1st to 2nd. 6 laps to go. Harvick for second on Johnson.
At least he's saved plenty.
Yeah, he's not saving any now. It's a gamble for him to go now.
And it puts pressure on Stewart.
Yeah, they were just about a half a tenth apart there is all that Harvick was able to beat Stewart the last time, so Tony's still running pretty fast.
5 laps to go, 5.
See right there, Tony Stewart just pushed the clutch in. Easing it out a little bit now. I tell you, it takes a lot of skill to do what he's doing and saving fuel and trying to run these lap times fast enough to win. Watch this. He doesn't do it going into 3. He clutched it going into 1.
Harvick beat him by about a half a second last lap. Tony's got a lot of traffic right in front of him. See how that affects what he's able to do.
There's Harvick.
I think Harvick's going to catch him. It's just going to be, does Harvick have enough fuel to make it to the end? And I think when he gets to Stewart, Stewart's going to quit all the nonsense of pushing the clutch in and run as hard as he can.
Yeah, they ran about the same lap time, only 0.03 of a second that last lap. I think one thing that's helping Tony Stewart, that car is driving so good, and when it drives like that, you can back off the throttle, let the car roll a lot more, and now obviously you're using less fuel like that. That's why he's not slowing down as much doing all of this.
3 laps to go. 1.7 seconds back to Kevin Harvick.
Tony still has enough lead to soft pedal to the end.
It was a year ago at New Hampshire. Tony Stewart led the first race of the championship. Ran out of gas while leading, coming to the white flag. He's coming to the white flag this time, leading with fuel mileage in play. 1.4 seconds back to Kevin Harvick, a lap and a half to go.
And that team never recovered from running out of fuel leading that race either. Really affected the rest of their chase. Does he have enough today?
Is somebody going to run out and lose a chunk of points? Will the lead change hands in the final lap, or can Stewart begin his championship with a breakthrough win?
Like
there are cars on the apron running out of fuel as Stewart takes the white flag. It was Kyle Busch, Andy referenced a second ago, on the apron out of fuel. Half a lap to go.
Now Gordon's out of fuel.
All clear, keep coming.
You'll see Gordon there. Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, all slowing out of gas. Tony Stewart, the fuel holds up. Tony Stewart opens the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with his first win of the season. There are cars running out of gas everywhere around this racetrack. Matt Kenseth getting pushed by the 38 car. He doesn't want that on the last lap of this race.
Well, he got pushed all the way down the back straightaway and all the way through 3 and 4. And that is illegal on the last lap.
Officials will look at it. Look at the guys running out of gas. Jimmy Johnson was out. Kyle Busch was out.
Paul Menard's out.
Trevor Bayne is slow on the apron.
Guys, I'm proud of you.
Allmendinger ran out of gas. Looks like Ryan Newman ran out of gas. Jeff Gordon ran out of gas. Look at them all. They got across the start-finish line and just hooked the left onto pit road because they're all out of gas. But that car had it all figured just right.
Wow, what a job Tony Stewart did right there in saving fuel, staying out front also.
Calculations were right, Vince.
Darian Grubb gave Tony Stewart a great race car, and Stewart saved the fuel he needed. How concerned were you as those final laps were ticking down, especially after the way the chase opened last year at Loudon with running out of fuel?
That did come back into mind a little bit, but just awesome race car, awesome job by the pit crew. Tony did an awesome job. That's the way it starts the chase right there.
Yeah, they did it. Great job by this crew. They got the job done over the wall today, big time, Alan.
Tony Stewart with his first win of the season. We talked just a few minutes ago about how last year's championship run started off on the wrong foot and they never recovered. And earlier in the day, I mentioned what a win here might do for this team.
Absolutely. They have to be on top of the world with this win, looking that Loudon next weekend, where his cars finished first and second. Tony finished second to his teammate Ryan Newman, so a lot of momentum here.
And our Goodyear winning moment, Tony Stewart with a little lap before the fans, holding that checkered flag. Little Saturday night short track racing tradition. No surprise, Smoke would spend his victory celebration that way. Now, the whole finishing order kind of turned inside out on the last lap. Jamie Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to get third.
Yes, he starts off 19th today, and they just made the right adjustments. Those fundamental changes seem to really help today. You guys made the right call. How happy are you with the third place finish today, Junior?
I got to thank the team. First off, we had really, really good pit stops all day long. Those guys have worked hard to try to improve, and they really did today. And the car was a bit of a struggle in some parts of the race, but we made some changes at the end. The car was really, I think, one of the fastest cars on the track, and we drove up in the top 10 there. We started trying to save a little gas, and we made it further than most. So I'm pleased with the engine, the guys at the engine shop, the guys that put the car together in the fab shop, all the guys in the 88-48 shop, this whole team. We worked hard all weekend trying to just be smart, and it was a good weekend for us.
And you gained 6 positions in the points. He's 6th now. Dave?
And Carl Edwards is 3rd in the championship right now after a 4th place run. Talk about your day.
It was really good, and it was really bad, and at the end it was pretty good. So I'm happy with that. That's a strong finish. I got to thank Aflac for being on board. They've been behind us 100%, and we came into this race feeling a lot of confidence. In the first half, we led a bunch. I felt really good. And there at the end, Bob and Jason did a great job of telling me to save fuel and giving me updates on where everyone was. So a great finish for us, for Ford, Scott's, Aflac, everybody. It's a good start. We'll go to Loudon and hopefully run like we did at Richmond.
Carl, a good man to have in a fuel mileage race. Doc?
And I'm not sure Crew Chief Gil Martin was confident that Kevin Harvick had enough. When he turned you loose with 7 to go, how comfortable were you that you had enough fuel to make it?
I wasn't ever comfortable, but I knew I had saved a little bit under caution and a little bit at the beginning of that run, and they felt comfortable with the lap time. So everybody on our Budweiser Chevrolet did a great job, and knowing exactly how far we can go, we ran out coming onto pit road there. So good first race for us.
And the gamble paid off. Kevin Harvick, the points leader, by 7 points, Alan.
Harvick finished 9/10 of a second behind Tony Stewart, who gets his first win of the 2011 season in the first race of the Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. We head to Napa Victory Circle to hear from the race winner.
Tony Stewart getting ready to climb out of his race car, and what a surge his team has made, going from 9th in the points to start this chase to 2nd in the point standings. And it was a big win for this team. They have been so close throughout the course of this season and hadn't been able to get to victory lane, but today they do it. Now, I know you weren't feeling so good yesterday, but this makes you feel better, I'm sure. How big is it to start the chase with a win here today?
Oh, it's huge. I had a migraine all day yesterday, so I'm kind of glad we didn't race. But, man, this Office Depot Mobile One Chevy was awesome. And all of our partners with Burger King and Coca-Cola and U.S. Army, Tornadoes, El Monterey, Haas Automation, all these guys. We've had a rough year, so this is a good way to start it off.
Congratulations. Tony Stewart has now won a race for the 13th consecutive season.
Terrific day for Tony Stewart, and really needed.
Yeah, really needed, but just shows, we were talking about maybe 6 or 7 teams strong. This obviously adds one more to the mix at least.
Yeah, this started a few weeks ago when he had the great run at Atlanta, and then last week at Richmond, and now the win here.
Now, with all the cars running out of fuel on the last laps, and some other things that were going on, like Matt Kenseth getting that push, NASCAR says Kenseth will become the first car 1 lap down by getting that assistance on the last lap. And with all the people running out of fuel, right-hand column, look at where they finished. Jimmy Johnson went back to 10th, Kyle Busch to 23rd, Matt Kenseth to 21st. And that does include Matt Kenseth's penalty, by the way. And again, NASCAR will go back and review again the scoring to be sure with everybody running out on the last lap, but that's what we've got at this point, and we think that's going to be a pretty accurate picture as we head off to New Hampshire next Sunday. New Hampshire, Dover, Kansas, Charlotte, Talladega, Martinsville. Going to have some great racing as we decide this championship. Hope you'll join us at the racetrack. That's how, NASCAR.com/tickets. And of course, all the telecasts. ESPN, with the exception of the Saturday night race from Charlotte, which will be on ABC.